Well, what's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 42 of the Roots of Success podcast. I am your host, Nate the Great Peterman, coming at you. And today I have a very, very special guest, my brother, John Oliver. How you doing, man?
I am fabulous, man. I'm back up in Minnesota, so I'm a little cold, but I got a t-shirt on because I got the heat up to God knows what. It's hot. I was just in Florida, but I'm doing great.
Man, it's probably like 0 degrees out there, right?
It is the real feel right now is 6. So I left Florida, it was 76. I got here, it was 26, but the real feel was 6. So that's a nice 70-degree swing. But I'm all grateful, man. Life is good. Having houses in both places, you can't beat it, right?
Heck yeah, bro. You got the best of both worlds.
It's all about.
And yeah, for those of you who might be wondering, who is John? I'd love to know a little bit more about him, like the background. John is an accomplished entrepreneur and athlete, splitting his time, like he said, between Minnesota and Florida. He is the owner of BLAST, which stands for Biomechanical Lifestyle Adaptive Strength Techniques, as well as JOLT, which means John Oliver's Lifestyle Training, an elite level personal training company. He is a certified strength and condition specialist that hold multiple nationally accredited certifications, as well as a master's in exercise physiology. John additionally served as a personal results specialist for Tony Robbins and is a vice president of Trusum Visions Partnerships, an international personal development company that provides unparalleled conditioning programs. He also has owned and developed a nutrition line as well as in-home workout system prior to partnering with an international multi-billion-dollar health and wellness company. John is incredibly passionate about development and plans to change the world by unlocking people's genius using the cycle of growth and opening up a new world of personal development. That's incredible, brother.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it sounds cool, right?
Holy
Guys, I'm like,
cow.
it's funny over the years of doing things. It's like the whole process is just how to help people, how
Yeah,
to best serve them. And I think that that's where everyone's trying to find a passion in life. They're trying to figure out um, what their purpose is, you know? And I had a career knee back injury, and that's kind of a fun story. I don't know how much we talked about that, but that kind of goes off the first part of the bio. And a friend of mine wrote that for a speaking engagement I was doing not too long ago up in Detroit, Michigan. And it was cool. I'm like, I read it. I'm like, wow, I guess I've done a lot of stuff. Um, but, it kind of all goes back to at the beginning, I was an athlete. We all grew up, I think, especially boys, looking up to the Michael Jordans or whoever it was, that aspect of it, whatever your era was, at LeBron James or whatever. And for me, my genetic ability, I stand about 6'8", 250 pounds. So that kind of helps. Uh, that's the start of it. I always grew up playing multiple sports. I actually was a soccer goalkeeper for a
Oh,
year.
okay.
Yeah. And that was fun. I literally kind of grew out of the sport. My shoe size jumped from a 13 to a 15 when I was in 8th or ninth grade. And yeah,
Wow.
and they didn't make cleats. And I played basketball in the winter. I played baseball in the spring, and did really well. Excelled at all of those. Ended up lettering in 4 sports in high school, which is kind of fun. And as I was transitioning, they were like, John, you could go to college for this. I'm like, oh, like you could get a scholarship. And I'm like, wow, and there'd only been one person from my high school that had gone Division I full scholarship previously. And I grew up in Syracuse, New York. So grew up with Syracuse, the Big East Conference, and watching UConn and Pittsburgh and Georgetown and Syracuse, those rivalries, and St. John's and Rutgers and all. It was fun, and I wanted to play in that league. But fast forward, I ended up really focusing my energy into basketball and signed a contract with West Virginia University to play ball. Played there, played against my hometown team. Actually scored my first points against Syracuse when we played them when I was a freshman. It was fun. So that was kind of a fun experience. And then you think that's what your life is, right? That's your identity. You're an athlete.
Right.
And then what? And so I had been kind of band-aiding some pain that I had, back pain, not knowing that the MRIs that I had been getting showing bulging discs, those bulging discs could herniate. Those herniate could then pinch nerves, and that could be the end of my career. So aspiring to play professionally, and I got invited to 2 pro camps, one in Salt Lake City, Utah, one in North Carolina, working on some things, had some ins with the New Jersey Nets because of Rod Thorne, who was a West Virginia alumni, and he's a GM there. and, looking to sign a contract and everything, and had a herniating injury. And that's where, the story kind of starts, actually. And so at that point, you're like, what do I do?
Right.
And this is who I am. This is my identity. Now what?
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part. You kind of go into a depression, maybe. You kind of go into poor me. Now what do I, this is what I've done. And that's not my personality. And if anyone knows me, I'm very intrinsically motivated. I'm a hard worker. My dad started his construction company when he was 17 and worked it ever since to this day. My mom, same thing, super hard worker and always there to support me. So, kind of went through a little funk and then figured out, like, I want to know how I got injured, why I got injured, and how I can help people not go through this. And realizing that people go through pain and discomfort and injury, not just from sports, just in life, car accidents, just, degeneration of bone, discs, so on and so forth, poor lifestyle, poor health. And so that led me back to school. They offered to pay for my grad school, and I went back and got my master's in exercise physiology. I was a strength conditioning coach, and I was training athletes, and I realized how that process was. I love that. And then I kind of moved forward from there. And it was like, oh, there's a portion of nutrition. Okay, nutrition is a huge part of that. And that got me really involved in that. And I can go into that whole story too as well. But then that moved me into, okay, why can I change somebody's diet and their exercise? And they lose hundreds of pounds, but then they rebound back. And that was where the kicker came into the mindset. And that was what really brought it all together was, we got to change their mindset. We have to change their identity. And there's a cycle of performance, which was kind of said in my bio. That's really my passion, is to show people how you can't go from where you are to where you want to be and just think you can just jump this, valley without having the tools and maybe the guidance or the accountability to get there. And that's where I really picked up with the stuff with Tony Robbins, resonated, and had the opportunity to work with him for a couple of years and, see what that side of it was before actually meeting some other people. So everything in my life has led to exactly where I am, even right now with you, doing this podcast and reaching more people. And that's where my passion is. So that's kind of a small nutshell. And I could go off on all of those tangents for hours on it. It's kind of fun.
No, for sure, bro. I'll tell you one thing, man. I could not see you working in a cubicle being 6'8".
No, what's funny about that, Nate? I've always been an entrepreneur. I guess maybe because of my parents in that aspect as well too. My mother and father didn't have the opportunity to go to college. They were born then. Now they didn't have me till later. They were born in the 40s.
Oh wow!
And they actually didn't have kids until they were in their mid-late 30s. So, or me at least, so looking at that aspect of things, that's kind of unheard of. Back then, it's like you had kids at like early 20s and whatever. Now my parents are in great health and in great shape now, but they're in their 70s. And so that's like a bigger thing, and I look at that and I'm like, maybe that's a different generation. You're a little younger than I am. And then we have this millennials and or Gen, whatever they are now, Z, and the entitlement aspect of it. And they don't want to work for anything, unlike yourself. But it's like everything is like, well, I should have that. Why? You shouldn't have food. You got to work for it. You shouldn't have a job just because you went to high school and or college. So yeah, to me, it was never going to be that cubicle life. I worked technically while looking at first job was babysitting, then working for my dad, which he wanted to pay me like pennies on the dollar. And I remember there was a union job. If you know the state of New York, Albany is the capital on the East Coast, and Buffalo is the far west. And we did a fiber optic line across the New York State Thruway where I did manual labor for like summers and raking and shoveling and whatnot. And I remember my dad saying, he's like, this is why the importance of an education. And I'm like, Dad, you didn't even graduate high school. Like, what do you know? But they were supportive and understand, that was a different time. And so now, I got diplomas, funny and different role. I got all these certifications to diplomas, and what does it really mean? It's not even worth the paper that it's written on. I look at somebody like yourself that's a young entrepreneur and saying, okay, get out there and hustle. Look at the Gary V's that are still going, I'm going to buy stuff and turn around and sell it on eBay or Craigslist or whatever. Ty Lopez, as annoying as you think he may or may not be, he's got that hustle. It's like, that maybe doesn't resonate with me. When somebody called him out on he rents his house and whatever, I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. But Yeah, no, it's cool. And the cubicles, they weren't going to work for me. I did work for a company one time. It was called Lifestyle Family Fitness. It was a big fitness chain in Florida. When I moved down to Florida, I realized I was a really big fish in a small pond, Nate. And that was the thing in West Virginia. You think about a state where they have no professional sports.
Right.
And then they have only one university. Well, actually, they have Marshall, which people forget is like a 40,000 attendance school. But
Dang.
you are their Michael Jordan, you are their Peyton Manning, you are their whatever, their superstar, right? And so I was there, and I was like, I got to get out of here. This isn't real life. Like, I got my own parking spot at the clubs. I don't pay for drinks. I get taken care of. And like, I had the police pull me over. Fun story one time with some guys in the car, and I had probably pulled a little illegal maneuver. I was waiting in traffic, pulled
Yeah.
me over, came up to the car, got the license, went back to the car, came back with a media guide and asked if we could sign it for his son.
What?
But that's real life, like there in a small town. We've seen that. So I had to get out of there, and I went down to Florida, and I started working at a company just to see about training. And what I realized then is there was like highly undereducated, undercertified, even out of shape trainers charging a lot of money, and people put their, we all see it right now. It's New Year's, right? New Year's resolution, go to the gym, whatever. And I'm like, these people don't know what they're doing. And they're charging a lot of money. So as a young kid, I came in there, I ended up breaking every record in the club in a month, every record in the company's history in a year. And I said, okay, I built a reputation in referral business, but that's my mentality. That's hard work. Get out there. Maybe it's an athlete mentality, whatever. And then I jumped and created JOLT, my first company, John Oliver's Lifestyle Training. I was like, okay, I can show people how to do this, and the grind. I mean, I respect it. The 9 to 5 is more like a 5 to 9. Because you're working, instead of 40 hours, you're working 80 a week. You're taking work home. Oh, I work from home. Yeah, you work all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you're tied to a computer and a phone, and it's okay. I'm not knocking that, but things change when you have children, when you have a family. When I see parents that have to drop their kids off at early care and then after care, and they see them 2 hours a day for that American dream, for that white picket, for what? For the Joneses? I mean, don't get me wrong. I like my cars. I got a lot of toys and stuff, motorcycle, whatever,
Yeah.
but it's not about that. The quality of your life, there has to be a balance there.
No, straight up. I totally agree with that. And something I love watching, with you, John, is just how you are with your kids.
Yeah.
Like I love seeing, how you post on like the Instagram and everything. And
Yeah. My daughter's my world,
yeah.
I'm a single dad, and I don't mean it like I'm the only. She has a mother who's amazing, and her mother and I were together for 7 years, engaged for almost 3. We decided to have our daughter. We did a natural childbirth. I delivered her. People don't know, like, I'm the first humans that ever touched her. Not that I do any of the work, women. I know you do all of it, but I wanted to be there. My daughter, her name is right here on my arm, Gianna. Like, it's tattooed on my arm. Like, she knows she's my world. And even in the light of things, balance is a big thing, and that's what her mother works with right now. And we lost communication in our relationship. We still have a great co-parenting relationship, but that's my world. You'll see my stories. It's my daughter messing around, but you can teach them from a young age. Children are so impressionable. I like kids better than adults, because they just you can understand when they respect you and they trust you. They don't think about things. I mean, children are geniuses. They say up until the age of 4, every children tested the genius level. Then by the time they graduate high school at 18, there's like a small percentage, because they've been told they can't do something. No, well, you're not going to be able to, or you don't have the, like, they're never encouraged. And I'm not talking about enabled, but empowered, right? I tell my daughter all the time, can I do this? Well, can you? Well, you're allowed to. Would you like to? Well, Dad, I'm hungry. Okay. Do you want to help me make food? Because that's how I learned. Oh, Dad, I do that. And she now does things that I used to. There was an epiphany with her. This is a perfect one for kids. We're up here in Minnesota, and we leave the gym. And she always likes to get a treat, snack, or something. Now, for her, it's like a cheese stick or a granola bar or whatever, which that's astronomical, because like a cheese stick is $1.40 now. I think that used to be the price of a gallon of milk. But yeah.
Holy cow.
So I'm trying to teach her the aspect, the understanding of money.
Yeah.
And she's 3. And I said, well, baby, do you have any money? Well, no. I said, okay, well, how are you going to pay for it? Well, you pay for it. I'm like, right, but this costs money. Okay. I said, well, next time I'm going to buy you this treat, but next time we're going to get the money. So she has her little Hello Kitty purse and she's got her coins in it. So the next time she comes and she pulls out her coins and I look at her and I said, baby, it's not enough. She's like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, you see one of these dollars? This is worth 100 of those little copper things. She was like, how do I get the paper money? And I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm like, but what you're going to do is we're going to do some things at home. You're going to help me with the laundry. You're going to put your stuff in the hand, whatever it may be. You're going to help me carry some stuff. We're going to do this. And she started doing it. And I would give her, you know, whatever it was, $1 or something like that. She started saving. Well, it was interesting because she now does them, doesn't ask for anything. It's become part of her habit, part of her routine. I could take you in a room right now. It's more organized than any 5-year-old on the planet, but she likes to know where her stuff is, you know? And so then the funniest part about that story, she's back at her mom's one day and her mom's like, John, what is her obsession with the paper money? And I'm like, oh, I was teaching her about money. She goes, yeah. I'm like, well, what did she ask you for? She goes, she told me she wants the one with the zeros. I'm like, hey, good girl. Start high, and you know, if you end up at $10 instead of 100, it's better than one.
We're going straight to the Benjis on that one.
Hey, she said she wanted the one with the zeros. It's pretty, she said. So, you know.
Oh, shoot.
But that's the thing, you know, like, I mean, parents out there and understanding, like, it's a growth cycle that we all go through. I didn't know what it was to be a parent. I wanted to. We plan on this. You know, some people out there, it's unplanned. Some people out there are in relationships that they're miserable, but they're still together. We did the best thing for our daughter. Hence why I actually split time between Minnesota and Florida. So, yeah.
Wow, man, no, that's incredible. Because, I mean, we both know, I mean, there's lots of relationships out there, especially with like, whether it's father, daughter, father, son, you know, vice versa, mother, daughter. And it's not like that. You know, people just don't know how to properly raise their kids. And I just look at yourself.
Communicate. Yeah, they just don't. That's the thing. Nothing bad happened. Like in our relationship, nobody cheated on anybody. There wasn't any, you know, there was nothing bad. We just, what really happened, and like that's a whole nother story, but our nutrition company that we previously manufactured our own, we partnered with a much larger multi-billion-dollar company. Right. And her mother has actually created herself a residual over $1 million a year business. She will sit back, not that she ever does sit back, but she can collect that. She makes more every week than most people make in the entire country, you know, and it's, but there has to be a balance with that, Nate. And that's another side of things, is that we hear money is the root of all evil. Well, money's not evil. It's what you do with it. You know, money can make things easier. I tell people all the time, money makes it very simple. If you have to fly across country to take care of a friend or a family member, or if you'd like to take your, you know, somebody on a vacation, you like to do something nice for someone, it becomes a point where I'm buying my 5th, you know, sports car. That's a little bit ridiculous. It's like, what purpose does that serve, right? You know, you look at somebody like Sam Walton, who supposedly drove like a pickup truck all his life, or Warren Buffett, who doesn't spend that type of money. Then you look on the flip side and you do see somebody like Tai Lopez, who isn't making billions like that, but has got a Lamborghini and a Ferrari and a Phantom in the driveway. And it's like, okay, like, I don't know, you know, all depends on the person, right? So
it's true. I mean, I guess each and every single one of us, we have different values, you know, like it's just crazy how it works.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's wrong. I mean, Biggie was probably right when he said more money, more problems, right? I mean, there's a side of that I look at, and that's, you know, I've been able to do some things that I absolutely love. The house of my dreams, having vehicle, having stuff, and that doesn't define who you are. When you have a child, then it all changes, you know? And it's your rich life experiences. It's the trips that you can take. I took a trip with my boys to Colombia this year, or going on retreats to Austin, or doing something, or I had a nice time in Lake Tahoe recently. Like, those are the things, or like spending time with my parents in Florida and having them. I'm trying to get them to kind of snowbird. You know, they're upstate New York. You're in PA most of the time, right? So, you know, like cold, snow. It's like, why am I here in the winter if I don't have to be? So
I get so old. My grandparents, they just went down to Florida, I think, a few days ago. But man, it's been crazy warm here. It hasn't gotten like less than, I'd say, 30 degrees. Like we've had
that's another whole topic that I'm worried about with the whole global warming. Because let's just flip to that thing real quick, because we have no agenda here. So look at every movie that's out lately, and all of it's AI, and I know that's coming, right? AI, artificial intelligence, is going to take over. But the funny conspiracy theory in all the movies is that AI assesses what's wrong with the planet, and it's humans.
Mm.
And the only solution is to take out the humans. Like, we create more BTUs, more energy per person, and we're overpopulated. Wonder why the polar ice caps are melting, and tsunamis and hurricanes in places there shouldn't be, and tornadoes, and like, what's going on? Like, what's this, dramatic weather changes? Like, I'm not trying to be a hypochondriac here and freak everyone out, but we got to look at things. Like, when I went to West Virginia, and not to put them down, it's a beautiful, amazing place.
Absolutely.
They didn't recycle. Like, when I was there, I'm like, how do you not recycle? In New York, you got to recycle like paper, plastic. You got to separate everything out or you get fined. So it's like, that's a whole nother idea with that. But, weather is an interesting one, but that's life. Again, it reverts back to like, what are you doing with your life today? And where do you want it to go? I'm not saying you have to have it all figured out. There's something that I post every day on my Instagram story. It's a daily growth. And it's an email that we send out through one of our companies, Growth You. And it's just a little actionable thing, just little simple actionable item that you can get. It's a free email we can send you. Anybody can have it. And I'll send you the link to that. But like, it just gets you to think. If you wake up in the morning and you get your daily growth email and you're like, okay, you know what? That actually was beneficial. I'll look at the one today. This is a really simple one. I think I just posted it earlier today, but it's called Target Tuesday. And so Target Tuesday is give yourself a round of applause. The fact that you're actually reading the daily growth right now. And so that was fun. We're acknowledging you. And then it said, even a smaller step forward is worth, what could you focus on versus, what you don't have in a recent situation. And we talk about self-doubt and self-talk and stuff like that. And then just said, we give you a little actionable thing to do. It says, identify one thing that you're proud of yourself or an accomplishment that you did yesterday or today. Like, we force you to go, damn, all right, Nate, what am I proud of myself for today?
Right.
What am I grateful for today? And as cliched as it is, the roof over my head, the device that you're actually listening to this on now, if it's a smartphone or computer, like, there's people that don't have that. And we hear about it, like other people, like I teach my daughter, like, there's people in other countries that don't have running water and food that's abundant. And it's silly, but we always got to go back to that, man. We live in the best place in the world, but on the flip side, we use the most prescription drugs. We have the highest risk of stroke, cancer, heart disease, diabetes.
That's great.
The advancements in medicine are better than anywhere, but why? What are we doing? So, hey, this is New Year. This is a perfect time. And talking with me, this is what I do. It's like, what are you going to do to make a change? I'm not talking about this monster New Year's resolution. What are the small obtainable goals that are going to get you to the larger one? And that's where people, I think they shoot. Like, I've been seeing people posting about the gym. We have like a little thread. There's some guys at the gym here, and they're like, gee, I can't find. I was leaving yesterday, and it was crazy to see like people were getting angry about parking.
Oh,
and I'm like,
gosh.
You're going there to relieve stress, but you're creating more stress. And if you're going to the gym, who cares if you park far away? That's the point. Like, why are you circling to park closer to that's the biggest oxymoron that I know. I tell my daughter all the time, like, we got two legs, we're going to walk. And we get there in twice the time, half the time anyway, and somebody's still circling around. So
I do the same thing. I'm always afraid of somebody hitting my car. I don't want nobody like.
Well, but then if you worked hard for it, that's another thing. Perfect example. Every vehicle that I have, I don't know how many times I've been asked by friends, man, did you just detail? Is this? I'm like, no, I keep that clean. But I remember back my dad in construction business, right? So this is like stones and grease and machines and all this stuff. He always had his main truck that he drove in his daily drive. He had this brush that he kept to the side, and he always would brush out the stones. And it was getting gas, he brushed out the stones, and it always was clean for like a construction vehicle. And growing up, right now on the side of my Escalade that's sitting in the garage, I got a brush sitting there. And in my car in Florida, I got a brush sitting there. It's like, and it's funny because people look at that, and that's just, I think, the way you carry yourself too. I'm not saying you got to wear a 3-piece suit every day or wear a collared shirt, but at the end of the day, a physical appearance is that foot in the door. You know it as well as anybody else, is that half the time, if you look the part, no one's going to tell you that you aren't. You can walk into the place like you own it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I completely agree with the fake it till you make it aspect, but the bottom line, but the thing is like, look, I got a guy, this is perfect gratitude. I have a brand new sport coat that I just got made. I get my stuff, tailored. And I went to put it on for the first time. I was going out with my parents and over Christmas time, my daughter, and the button popped off, brand new. So I shot a picture of it, text my guy, I'm like, laugh out loud. Like, he's like, oh my God, let me know. I will take care of that for you. You know, and this is like their custom, you know, this is tailored to me. So I'm like, yeah, no worries, whatever. And I just got back in town. He shows up this morning, comes and gets it at like 10 a.m. He's like, I'm going to get it. I'm like, but that's service. And the thing is that, you know, I had never worn the suit and tie. I'd never done the 9-to-5 thing. But then as I said, okay, I might like a t-shirt and a sport coat. That's kind of fun. Like, this is one of my fun t-shirts. Like, if you can see it, it's got words all around it. It spells out legacy, but it talks about vision and passion, leadership, work ethic, growth. You know, that's like a fun thing. But, you know, we can all bullshit all we want, right? We can sit there and say, oh, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to do something different. But are you? Because it just keeps going. Like, one of my most favorite quotes from a mentor, Dr. Wayne Dyer, he said, if you change the way you look at things you look at change.
That's deep.
And I always expanded on that and said, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Mm.
You know, we have one of our taglines at Growth U is change is inevitable, but growth is intentional.
Oh.
Like, you have to put intention. I'll drop these bombs all day. Like, that's the thing, is like, you have to put intention behind growing. Change is going to happen.
Yeah.
The weather's going to change. The days of the week are going to change. Your attitude's going to change. Your health, whatever. But you have to put the intention behind what you really want to accomplish. Like, I don't know what that is. What do you want to do? You know? And I'm not saying it has to be getting physical shape or getting the mental, like, or maybe it's working on a relationship. And that's where I've really morphed what I've done is we have a program for relationships called Friends First. We have a program for a global financial mindset, about money mindset. You know, why are there a division in every bank in the United States for lottery winners? I don't know if you know that. Every bank has a division for lottery winners because they don't have the identity to understand. They didn't have money. Just like I have a lot of friends that are professional athletes, work with a lot of people, and they lost millions of dollars. They made millions. There was a 30 for 30 on ESPN called Broke. Like,
right. Yeah.
It was all around that. Like, you don't have that investor reset. We're doing one on youth leadership for young leaders, you know, being a bright light bulb in a dark room, be that Steve Jobs, that Elon Musk, be different. It's okay. Like, don't be the norm. That's okay. The more haters you have, trust me, like, if you got 5 today, you should have 10 by the end of the week. And trust me, when your haters start asking if you're hiring, that's when you know you made it. Right?
Straight up.
That's the thing. And I don't know how long that's happened. You know, now with social media, we have the ability to reach people. But I put it out there. This is my life, messing around. You know, I'm not going to try to sugarcoat and tell you everything's perfect. But at the end of the day, I'm grateful for everything that happened. You know, I'm grateful that my left and right eye opened up this morning. My left and right foot hit the ground. Some people didn't. Some people have disabilities. Some people, you know, and that's what we take for granted too often. So.
No, that's deep, because it's like, it's perspective, you know, and most people, they just think about themselves, right? They don't think about, you know, the third world countries, you know, what other people don't have. They just think about, I got this beautiful smartphone right here. You feel me? This is all I need. This is all I need.
That's a computer. That's a computer in your hand that you can reach millions of people. And it's like, it's crazy. They said they did a study on a child's brain and what it would take if they built a computer the size of the brain power that they have. And they said it would be 10 miles high in the size of Texas.
Holy cow.
And so that we have this cybernetic mind, right, that does what it does. We use what percentage of it? Single digits? Like, remember that movie, what was it? Limitless. I actually created a product called Limitless Pill. But like, it was unlocking the creativity of your mind. And there was another one out there that was like some other drug that somebody with a really hot girl, I forgot her name. She was acting. But anyway, that was like something crazy. And she had ingested this drug. She was like a drug mule and whatever. And like, and unlocked her creativity. I think it had Morgan Freeman in it. It was a great movie.
Oh,
but, yeah. And so it's like, but we don't use our brains. And I'm not saying, like, you don't got to be the smartest person in the room, but you work hard. Like, I hate it when I hear this all the time. John, you're so lucky. Am I lucky, or did I just work harder than you? Or, man, I hope that works out for me. Well, hope is like luck, and neither are a course of action. Like, if you set yourself up the right way, did I run into the right, did after my career-ending injury, did I set myself up the right things? I worked and said, okay, I did the things that I needed to do. When I moved to Minnesota, a place where I didn't want to be honest, frozen tundra, to make sure the better good of my daughter, to make sure that she never missed a day without her mother or me. And then I was speaking at an engagement, and a couple people work with Tony, and we're like, hey, do you know who Tony Robbins is? I'm like, well, yeah.
Who
They're
doesn't?
like, well, we think, yeah. I'm like, oh. And then they challenged me, like, well, you wouldn't be able to he gets thousands of resumes a week. I go, good, because I don't have a resume. I've worked for myself for the last 15, So, and that led me into meeting a guy named Rod Harrison. Rod was a master trainer for Tony. Rod had created some amazing personal development programs. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's something here for me. And I'm like, this is how I reach people. I got to start with their mind. And if I can change the way that works, everything else works.
So
why do they say that like a mother can pick up a car from underneath like a trapped child? Like, because she believes she could.
Right.
The cybernetic mind doesn't know the difference between reality and what's not real. We see people do amazing. Roger Bannister, until somebody broke the 4-minute mile, nobody thought it was on, and everybody started breaking it. Like, it's crazy the way. I hope anyone that listens to this right now, they sit back and think, am I really using the ability that I have? Like, if you got arms and legs that work, if you have a brain, if you have anyone in your life, you got the ability to do something, Like I told people, I said, if I go work at McDonald's tomorrow as a whatever it was, like, cashier, I'm going to end up managing the place within a month, and I'll end up owning one by the end of the year. But that's the way I think. And I'm not being egotistical. There's a fine line between cocky and confident. But I know that I'm going to outwork. I'm going to learn everything it is, from burgers to fries to whatever, which I don't condone any fast food. But I'm going to learn how that works. And I have a friend for years, and they own maybe a dozen McDonald's. And I asked him, I said, he's like, John, it's a business. And I'm like, well, you eat there? He's like, no, I drink the coffee. I'm like, oh. He goes, it's not a restaurant, it's a business. And I go, I can't be mad at you because somebody's going to do it, right?
Right.
And the aspect of it, but I look at the dollar menu and I'm like, okay, you're still going to leave with paying $5. I can show you something that's superfood nutrition that's half the price. I can show you how to do the things, but people want that fast, that instant gratification. That's that cell phone again, right? This is just a computer in your hand that you can do anything. And my daughter says it all the time. Well, Dad, just ask your phone. Like, I try to play. She's too smart now. I'm like, oh, baby, I don't know. I don't think they're open today because I don't want to whatever it is. Let's go to the bounce house. Let's go to the Sky Zone thing. I'm like, oh, I don't think. Just ask your phone. Well, I didn't hear you ask them. She'll tell you. I'm like, okay, Sky Zone. Yeah, we're open today from. Oh my God, Jesus. But that's the power we have. I mean, right now to be on this, to you and I are on a video call. We're going to do a podcast. Like, that's amazing. We're in different places in the country, yet it's like real time.
Right. I mean, we're not in the same room. 20 years ago, they didn't have that.
Oh man, that's crazy. I tell my daughter, like I said, I got you by a few years, and I look at it, I go, I used to pick up the phone, call my friend's house. If they weren't home, I get on my bike and I try to figure it out.
Yep.
Now,
on the door.
I literally was in a conversation the other day with one person on 5 different channels of communication. Through text message, Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger, Snapchat. I was like, why are we talking on 5 different things? Like, literally, I couldn't keep up with the conversation. And it's like, and then the other sad part is people like text somebody, and then 5 minutes later, hey, just checking, did you get that? Relax. It's a message I'll get to when I get to it. Like, have that balance in your life,
Yeah, no, that's so true.
Like, people didn't remember emails. You responded to them when you got to them. Like, it's okay. But now it's like, if I have done this. I just did it yesterday. I had something that got buried because it got hit with so many other messages. And I'm like, oops, like I've done that with you. Like, I've completely forgot to respond to it. It's like, they come in, and it's nuts. This can control your life. So make sure you remember the small things, walk outside. Hey, son, thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go outside, take your socks off, earth yourself. You feel me?
Yeah, man. I mean, just like, that's a cool thing. And if it's too cold, just look at the sun and be like, okay, without you, it would be like the frozen tundra.
Shoot.
That was another thing. Look back at AI. What did they all want to do? They took out the sun. They figured that we had to live off that. That was the thing. The funny thing is, looking back at Terminator 2 was the movie, right? That was like how many years ago? And that literally was the same thing that all I see the trend of all these movies going, well, humans are the problem. They're the ones destroying the universe.
It's true, kind of, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to freak people out, but we have the ability to make the change. And the
Right.
thing is that if I can leave somebody with one thing today, it's look at what you have, look at where you're at, where you want to go. Making excuses is just that. It's just making excuses. Like, I don't care who it is. You have the ability to do what you want, but remember that it has to be something that you're passionate. If you can find something you're passionate about, helping people, whatever it may be, do that. I mean, this is a crazy one. I'm gonna go way off the end of the spectrum here, but like serial killer type of crazy, asocial people, they were really good at that because they put all their effort into it. It's nuts to even think about that. But how come these people because they were like, they had such a passion. Now, it was the most negative thing in the world. That's horrible. But how come that happens? You know? It's so your mind, if you have the ability to believe and put yourself in a place, change your state. I mean, that's a huge thing we teach with Tony, but it's like you have the physiology, get up, move. Do something. If you are in a cubicle, cool. Take a break, take a walk, go talk to someone. I don't know, call somebody you haven't called, physically call them on the phone and say, hi, how are you? Like, how often do we not do that anymore?
Oh my gosh. Especially like my generation, it's
Yeah.
all text. Like I can send audio messages all day, every day. I can
Yeah.
send video messages all day, every day, because it's like that's what works for me. And then you look back at, why, especially, a lot of these marriages kind of and then divorce, because it's the communication issues and
Oh, it's right now, we're all doomed. I've never been married. I was only engaged, but it's almost 60%. Like, I don't know if I even believe in it and then here's the thing, because of the accessibility that we have,
yeah,
there's a pro and a con. We can connect with people all over the world, all over. But now everybody's little shady stuff that they used to do, it's all exposed. Like, that's the other thing. Like, look at all the dating apps and sites and things and stuff that's come out of the wood. And it's like, it can get overwhelming. And it's like, you got to figure out what works for you. And I'm not saying
absolutely.
any of those are bad things. I know connecting with people, but it was so funny as I've gotten more into the social media. We've talked about this, and how you've helped me out. And as a guy, we're like, well, I'm not taking selfies and putting them like, girls are great at that stuff and the lighting and the angle. I don't know.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, but I can help people. So for
Exactly.
me, I have a gift, and if I keep it to myself, that's selfish as hell. And
Straight up.
if I give that gift to people, that's one of the things that I just love to tell people. It's like nothing is guaranteed.
That's
Nothing.
true. Nope.
I have so many friends that recently been diagnosed with life-threatening illnesses, cancers, stuff like, and I'm like, you don't know. I can give you the whole conspiracy theory on why I think that is with the foods and artificial colors, flavors.
Oh,
That's a whole nother topic. I'm going for days for that. But it's like, come on, like, make a change. Drink your water.
yeah,
Like, I got a cup right. It's like,
it's true.
water is life. You can't live without it. You can only go 7 days without water. You can go like 30 days without food if you had to.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's
Nuts,
insane.
man. Yeah. But, you're really, the thing is that I commend you, Nate, because when I was, let's see, what am I, like 15 years older than you? So like, I look at that aspect of it around, and it's like, I knew those things then, but I wasn't really getting out there. And now with this social media platform, with the ability to reach more people, you can do that.
Right.
Think about where you're at 22, or you're going to be at 25 or 35 or whatever it may be. The knowledge is power, it really is. And that's the reality of it. It's nothing is guaranteed. They say, this is one of my favorite quotes as well, that yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, but today is the present.
Exactly.
Like, you don't know. I mean, shit that happened to you, go get over it. That's
Right.
life. We all made mistakes. I'm not perfect. And things that haven't happened yet, you can't control those. All you can do is be the best version of you, and really try to, I want to leave this place better than when I came into it, right? I want to see this country, this planet, whatever it may be, with the ability. Now, I looked at something that really is passionate to me. You don't have to figure that out yet. Just keep doing what you're doing. I love when Gary says, and I had the ability last year around this time actually to talk with him for a while, and it was like, he's like, just screw up. Well, actually, he just says, just fuck up, because that's how he talks. And he's like, for 10 years. He's like, between 20 and 30, just keep making mistakes. And then you'll figure it out. I mean, the same thing like with Tony, looking at his story or looking at people that you look up to.
Yeah.
The bottom line is that figure out something that aligns with you, that you really can wake up, that moves you, that's passionate, whatever it may be. If it's birds or butterflies, books or cars, I don't care what it is, but figure out what it is. For me, it was health and wellness, nutrition, and personal development. They kind of went together, but I know that that's the reality of life. My demographic is the world.
Right.
Like everybody at the end of the day would pay any amount of money to have one more day, one more week, one more month. And if I can show people how to add years onto their life and then quality years,
Yeah,
that's invaluable. You know?
That's so true, John. Because it's like, man, I think about that all the time. Just about how everybody operates in their everyday life and the quality's just not there. You know, like you see people that are just, it's like they're walking zombies.
Well, they're zombies. That's the thing.
Yeah.
This whole zombie apocalypse and the whole like that's a real thing. That's really humans. That's what we've done. And we wish away the week.
Yeah.
For the 9 to 5. We wish for the weekend. They said the most stressful time is Sunday evening for anyone in the entire country, because the anxiety of going back on Monday to work and what they have to do and the schedule and the emails and the calls and the projects and whatever and school or whatever, like that's the most stressful time. And like I want to help people say it's okay. Look, right. I'm not saying that you're going to never work for anyone like I have. It's funny, when I finally wrote up that resume for Tony Robbins, right. Everything was such and such till present, such and such till present, such and such till present. And then it was like, I am the president of this company. I am the CEO of this company. Like, you know, even now I've taken over as vice president of partnerships for Trusum Vision, which is our company that has these online programs that Growth U and our other things. But there's amazing parts of that I'm like, I do what I want, when I want, with who I want, from wherever I want, whenever. And the thing is that I'm passionate about it, that I was actually talking to somebody on the phone until 6 a.m. like last night, this morning-ish, because it was somebody I reconnected with, and not to give you too much information, but she had been looking for a relationship, right? Like everyone, you know, hopeless romantic.
Oh, yeah. And
got involved with someone, and maybe it was the red carpet that was rolled out. This is a guy that took himself from welfare to multimillionaire in a very short period of time.
Wow.
But the problem is that the relationship, he made her quit her job. He made her do such a, then they got pregnant, they had a baby, then he completely left her 8 months pregnant. And then looking at that aspect, it became violent. There was physical, mental abuse. There was all sorts of other things. And then I'm talking with her, and she was actually going to court this morning. She was so anxious she couldn't sleep last night. And we started the conversation around 2 a.m. Didn't finish those. And I didn't mind, because I knew that there was a greater good to that. I had the ability in my schedule today, what I was doing that. But I look at that, and I know those people are out there. Millions of people are out there that are going through something like that. And I didn't have a way to reach them, Nate. Previously, it was small. I could help you with your diet. I could help you with your exercise. Now I'm like, I can help you with your mind. And that's where it goes. And I'm going to take you through this real quick. This is the most important thing that I've said this entire time, even though we've kind of been going. But I'm going to give you this cycle of growth, okay? And this is something that I love to teach you. This is something that what happens is, and I'll use a simple analogy, we're unconsciously incompetent, okay? We're in identity. We're in inception. We're in inception. We're happy. This is the kid. This is my daughter who doesn't know how to drive a car, just gets in the car with me. She doesn't know what she doesn't know.
Right.
I'm excited. It's cool. My energy's high. My attitude's high. I don't know what I don't know. I'm unconsciously incompetent. Around 12, 13, 14, she goes, I don't know how to drive a car. I want to drive a car. I want to go to my friend. I don't want to always ask my parents, how do I? Oh, shit. Now it's deception. I'm now consciously incompetent. I now know that I don't know, right? This is now you now realizing I don't know how to drive a car. This is the Matrix right here when Morpheus gave Neo the red or the green pill, and he's like, you want to see how far the rabbit hole goes. Once you know, you can't go back to unknowing.
Right.
Like You can go, once you know something, when you've seen behind the curtain of Wizard of Oz, you can't fool yourself. So now you're unconsciously incompetent, and you started hearing this inception up high, and you now, it's swooped down low. It's like a skateboard half pike, and you now drop down into this deception. And we all want to run back to our comfort zone, right? But nothing happens in the comfort zone. You just stay comfortable. Exactly. And so what we've done is develop programs to help transition and keep you accountable and push you through transformation, to push you into now what's called conscious competence. And back to my daughter, who now would be learning how to drive, getting her learner's permit, right? Remember that 15, whatever it was. And I'm helping her drive. It's 10 and 2. She's using her mirror. She's checking her show. She turns the radio down when she backs up. That doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't do anything. But your mind, right? Yeah. She's now consciously competent. She's now working on the skills she needs to then drive the car, because she didn't know how to drive. She can't just jump to now knowing how to drive. She had to go through this cycle. We all go through this. Happens every day. So she works on these skills. She's working on now maybe highway, merging into traffic, parallel parking, 3-point turns. Remember that? So dumb things to now today, you or I jumped in a car, drove somewhere while on the phone, while drinking, while eating something. Who even knows? You might have been texting or emailing, and you got there safe. Now, I don't condone you being on texting and emailing, but you got there because it's your identity. You know how to drive a car. You're now unconsciously competent. You've now created a whole new identity. You went from unconscious incompetence to now conscious incompetence. You didn't know what you didn't know, to learning on that skill, conscious competence, to now unconsciously competent. You know how to do things. You don't, and this is what I tell people all the time. You don't tell a baby, well, babies fall, right? They're trying to crawl, they're trying to walk, and they fall. Do you ever tell the baby, give up?
No.
Yeah, he's not going to be a walker. That Nate, not going to be a walker, so we'll just give up on him. No, they just keep trying, right? You keep working on it. If you thought in your head, which is why these generations, younger and younger, feel entitled, that you're just going to be able to do something without working on it, well, it's not going to happen. And that's what I found, and that's what became my passion, is showing people how to change that identity. If there's something that if you don't know how to work out, cool. It's overwhelming. Going to the gym, yeah, like you look at people go in there. I sit at like 5% body fat. I could be intimidating to people. Like, I get it, right? But that's because of my health and my nutrition. But that's also to keep my body in a place where I know that it makes me feel good. But then, that's something you want to do. If you want to learn a skill, if you want to do something, I get frustrated with my mom. Yeah. Well, I'm not good. You do it out for me. I'm like, Mom, I'm not going to enable you. Go online. Check the flights. See what the prices are. You can book this. You can do this. Like, if I keep doing it for you, you're never going to learn. And now I've seen that, So that's how we all were, before text messages even came along. No one wanted to do it. It was like T9 word. I was like, I'm just going to call the person. Now nobody calls anybody, like you said.
Right. So, no, it's true. Everything was like through the phone and everything. And no, bro, I love how you broke that down. That was incredible. Where can I know I want to be respectful of your time. It's crazy. It's an hour, but where can the people find you on social media? Do you have any website links or anything like that?
Yeah, so social media, the best one is my Instagram is at Dr. Jolt, DRJOLT. My Instagram, that'll link you to my Facebook. There's a link tree there, which is kind of cool. I'm just learning this, which is kind of fun. I made a little link tree thing at the end of my bio. You can click on that. What's really cool is it takes you right to Growth U, one of our sites, which will have those programs. That's where our change is inevitable, but growth is intentional tagline. I'm going to put some other things on there as well. My Facebook link is on there as well. But if I can help someone, that's my passion, Nate. And what I've realized is that what I want to do is help someone. There might be someone out there that I can help. And then they open up a network of all these other people that are desperately sitting there, not knowing that there's something out there like this, that we have the ability now to do that. And that's what I want to tell people. My nutrition site's on there as well, which is kind of fun, which is, I partner with Isogenics, who's an international nutrition. But like anything that, like, people want a direct message, is that something they can do? Instagram is one of the best things right now. I'm realizing I'm funny. Like I said, my stories are silly. God knows what I'm talking about or what I'm doing. Today I was talking about not being at my house in Minnesota for a month and my refrigerator being completely empty. But I had some grass-fed beef that I bought. And I remember when I got home, I took it out there and I put some frozen veggies and some brown rice, and I just made something up. And I'm like, dude, there you go. I might drink my shakes, and it's like, so yeah, that's the best way. But if there's something I can do to reach out, please let me know.
Heck yeah, bro. And then in terms of like the programs and everything, does it matter what age you are or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
What's really cool is what's really awesome about Growth U, it's growth-u.com. And Growth U is just a really cool site. And if you go to it, I'm just going to play around on it right now. But there's a little tab, and the tab will actually have programs. And under that tab, we just released some new ones. They're called growth programs. And you'll see that the daily growth is something cool. And I encourage everyone to click on that. You can literally enter your email address, and we're not going to spam you. We're going to, every day, we're going to send you a free email. Daily growth, little paragraph, little something you can do. Now, there's other daily conditioning programs. We have one called The Big Picture, 30 Days Creating Visions at Work, Transform You. We have a leadership one. We have the Global Financial Mindset. We have a Re-Evolution of Health, perfect time for the beginning of the year. We have a Friends First one. Anybody that's on there, if that's something that interests somebody, contact me directly. Whatever you see for prices on there, I'm going to hook you guys up. I'm going to give you a discount. Cool thing is I get to do that because I'm what we have in the company called the Founding Growth Leader, plus I'm the Vice President of partnerships here, so I get to play around a little bit. But anybody here, part of Nate the Great, man, you're out there, you're doing this world the next service, and that's the thing. And so I want to help people out. But if there's a program out there, I look at these things, and I'm working with Tony, even at our big event is Unleash the Power Within. A general admission ticket is $1,095. It's $1,100.
Yeah.
And you got to get there, accommodations and transportation and food and all that stuff, right? So I've now figured out a way to say these programs, we have PhDs that have written white papers that show the psychology behind why it's 30, 45, or 60 days and why that works, and that daily accountability, that coaching. And literally for a couple $100, you're talking about like $2 a day. It's like, and what it could do to change your life. And we enter you in. We've created a community here, which is really cool. But Nate, what I want to do for you too, and I don't know if you've seen this, but check out those programs. Let me know if there's one that resonates with you. I'm going to hook you up. I mean, these are cool things. And when you get to actually see it, which is actually something funny that I'll talk to you about offline. I just thought of in my head. Yeah. But that ability to see what those programs do, you don't have something like this. Well, we love to link you in together, part of our family, and say, hey, look, these are things that you can offer to people that just as well. And that's what I want to do. That's why we're actually translating them into multiple languages. We just finished up Spanish. We're going to be going worldwide with them. And that's the cool thing, is that there's nothing out there like that. So I can tell everybody, go try to duplicate it. Good luck. We'll blow your mind with it. Because that's the thing, is like when Rod, who's the CEO and founder of the company, when he broke off from Tony was like, how are you going to go to a 45-day program, Rod, when I got a 21-day and people can't even do it? I'm taking it down to 7 days. And Rod's like, trust me, I know how to do this. And that's where his genius comes in. And I've aligned myself with that and learned a lot. I'm a sponge. Like you, I'm always absorbing. I don't know everything, and never will I. Because if there's a day that I think I know everything, somebody better dig a hole for me, because that's not it,
No, that's so true, bro. And I really appreciate, man, that special discount code, man. Like, that's incredible.
You want to just contact me directly. I'll take care of it, something like that. We have some things I can definitely do. People can reach out any which way they want. And that's a cool thing. But I want you to look at some of those too, because these are for everyone. My mom right now is going through Big Picture, Visions that Work. And she's like, why do I need to take a program? I don't understand. And I'm like, Mom, listen, I want you to understand what I do. And then she's doing it, and she's like, oh, well, I don't have a career because I'm not working anymore. But I'm like, Mom, but career doesn't mean that. What do you want to do with your life? Do you know what a vision board is? Have you looked at things and said, is gluttonous as it may be, if you want that house or that car or that life, go look at it. You don't know until you go to the dealership and you sit in that car and you smell that new leather and you whatever. It's the baddest habit I've ever had. I've bought 7 new cars since I've done that. The first time I did it, but you don't know what you want until you work. And maybe that's not the thing. Right now, the thing is a smile on my daughter's face when I had the ability to go to Busch Gardens one day and a bounce house the next day and jump zone and the pool and ride bikes and do this while everybody was at work. Jeez. Like, life could be worse, right? Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, brother. Hey, man, I'm going to attach the links to your socials, the websites below for people in the description to click on. And man, John, you dropped immense amounts of value, brother.
Yeah, man. So I'll give you my mic drop, man. I created this was a long time ago. I said to people, good things may come to those who wait, but only things left over from those who hustle.
Straight up, brother. Hey, we'll be back for round 2. All right.
Love it, brother. Hey, man, we'll talk soon, Nate.
Hey, appreciate you, man.